Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. It's Militia Man and Crew. It is Friday the 20th, and I just want to say welcome and thank you guys for being with us for so long. Not terribly long, but I appreciate everybody coming in and being supportive and in being with Militia Man and Crew, because Militia Man and Crew all appreciate every single one of you. So thank you for being with us. We appreciate that. You guys, I'm just going to do a quick update because this isn't going to take very long at all. And when I say that, I kind of mean that. You guys remember one of the articles the other day was called "The Former Kurdistan Kurdish Minister of Parliament." Okay, he come out and said the regional government will obstruct any federal decision to pay salaries. And so I thought to myself, that's a pretty bold statement. And to that, I hear to where Mohammed, this gentleman, says to the news, he says, the court has previously issued a decision ordering the payment of salaries and obligating Baghdad and Erbil, both of them, to implement the decision to deposit salaries in federal banks. A little backside says the Kurdistan regional government did not abide by the decision to deposit salaries and established a subsidiary project called My Account, which we've talked about. And obviously that was going against the grain, and thus the salary crisis continued. Okay, so why do I bring this up? You're going to find out that there's going to be, as we noted last night, the salaries, are, the budget tables, etc., will be part of a few laws that'll be on the table supposedly for tomorrow. That's what they've said, so we'll see if that changes, because they do change, as you know. But here he says, this gentleman, the same gentleman, Mohammed, he says, the optimal solution to end the salary crisis once and for all is to deposit salaries exclusively in federal banks, because this is the only way to end the crisis, as the regional government will continuously put obstacles in its way. And so there's going to come a time where it's going to be push come to shove, and folks need to be accountable, and the federal court and others will probably be talking about that, because it is detrimental to the security and the stability of the homeland, because it creates a stir, and which creates discontent, and it creates a very negative environment, and they don't need that right now. We have enough negative news, as we're going to talk about a little bit actually too. But the bottom line is, it says the relationship between Baghdad and Erbil have witnessed, as we know, intense activity in recent weeks in an attempt to resolve contentious issues, most notably the federal budget, and which we may see tomorrow, and the revenue distribution mechanism. And I like that part, and we talked about it, but the revenue distribution mechanism hopefully is exchange rate oriented, because they haven't done some of these things over the last 3 years, almost going on 3 years, dealing with the tripartite budget. And that's basically what the 2025 budget schedules will have to potentially resolve at one time, sooner or later. And I believe it's going to be sooner. But anyway, it says, this article here, it says the budget includes next Saturday's Parliament session tomorrow. The House of Representatives will begin its session on Saturday as part of the final legislative term. It says among the most prominent laws that will be discussed and approved during this session are the laws restructuring the popular mobilization forces. I suggest you guys look those folks up, and you can find that real simply. It's talking about amending the industrial investment law. We did a little bit on the industrial investment law, very big and important type stuff that has already been done and ready to go, as far as I can tell, and that is good for the Development Road Project, investors having security and knowing where they stand. So, and then there's the education law, but the addition to the vote that day, or subsequently, whatever comes first, they might, who knows which one they're going to do first, but it is about voting on the 2025 budget schedules. So basically, we just watch and see if this holds true, if that does happen on Saturday, but keep some of those things in mind. I want to bring in, before I finish some of my feelings, is that there's an article that came out this afternoon, and it is to that former Parliamentary Finance Committee guy. Basically, it sounded like he was stirring the pot, and because they said they were going to, how did it say? They were going to obstruct any federal decision to pay salaries. Okay, so the chief justice, he comes in and says that what's his name is the Supreme Judicial Council Judge Zidane stated that Iraq's unity, sovereignty, and security are a red line. So in other words, don't cross them. Okay, it says that the speaker, he goes on and says, Iraq's unity and sovereignty and security are a red line, emphasizing the need for cooperation between the judiciary and the security agencies to take strict legal action against anyone who violates the law by inciting discord among members of a single community or who spreads false rumors that undermine the country's democratic political system. It sounds like what that gentleman was doing. It says maintaining security is the duty that falls on everyone according to his and her own jurisdiction. And he also ordered the prosecution of anyone who uses social media in a negative way to harm the state and distort the truth on the ground. That may very well be one of the things that they're talking about. Basically, I think that what they're talking about is they mean news. I mean, they mean business about fake news, and they should. I mean, when it harms the security and the stability of stability and sovereignty of a country, I think they should take it very seriously, and especially at a time where there's already a lot of things taking place that are, extremely tense. It is. That's all there is to it. Okay. Basically, what I feel is that the court made a final say-so. Okay, they've already ruled on this. They made a decision regarding the lawsuit that's been taken up, and that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about, or has been talked about in the news, on the table. Okay, so, but again, the federal court has already decided the salaries will be localized through the federal government and within federal banks of the choice of the citizens. The laws of the salaries have the law on the salaries. It really has already been decided. So at the end of the day, the court will have the final say. They'll have the final say to the law. They won't have the final say to an exchange rate change or anything like that. But anyway, the finance ministry, along with the central bank, will need to be working in conjunction with each other while all these involved, for instance, like the United States or U.S. Treasury, the IMF, the Bank of International Settlements, and other central banks are to be ready to complete Iraq's integration into the international financial system. I don't know to you, but to me, that's where the rubber meets the pavement with Iraq's integration into the global financial system, not at the hand of the court. However, the budget tables for 2023, 2024, and the amendment or amendments will need to be fleshed out and first before the 2025 budget tables can be voted on. That's our view, my view on that, because again, they have not done all that yet. And those items with the oil, the salaries, okay, all of those little bits and pieces that we haven't seen taken care of yet, is important. They invoke the Article 12 2C effectively when it comes to oil extraction costs. Salaries are similar. So that's big. Basically, you guys, the data that we provide in our Patreon room and Discord supports this. Could really be at any time at this stage, because all these things are converging at the same time. It's definitely unknown, to be sure, because for obvious reasons. They aren't going to tell us exactly when something is going to happen. They're not going to tell you how much it's going to happen at. They can't do that, and it's obvious reasons for that. Keep in mind, though, that again, that the court has already ruled on the matter of the localization of salaries. There is a lawsuit that's out there that basically tried to hinder that. And I would imagine, since they've already ruled, they've already talked about it, I wouldn't be surprised if there's potentially some consequences for even going so far as to invoking it and creating a problem. But again, I'm just saying though, the data that's out there supports the supposition that I have that I'm not too concerned about the court ruling, because they've already said it once, they've said it again, and then also coming out and talking about other things having consequences for breaching the red line. So interestingly enough, though, what are we seeing now? I think some of this news, how tiresome it really is for placating the people until the time comes for global integration. And I would say that that is probably, we're going to find out that's probably a very, very true statement. Anyway, it's plausible. All what I just said, does it mean I'm stating it to be a fact? No, it's my opinion, but I believe it's got some legs to it. There's just a little bit more left that I want just to go over because of the nature of what's happening. Our Iraq's foreign minister arrived in Istanbul, and why did they show up? It says, well, the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fahud Hussein, arrived in the Turkish city of Istanbul to participate in the OIC meeting, as well as in the emergency meeting of Arab foreign ministers. Called for by Hussein himself, he was received by a number of Turkish officials and representatives of the Turkish Foreign Ministry. Basically, what are they looking for? They're looking for to get the meeting of the minds, but they like to say this: Iraq's firm position is calling for calm, respect to the sovereignty of states, and resorting to diplomacy instead of violence and confrontation, and contributes to preserving regional and international security. So, let's see if the calm they look for becomes a reality, because I would like to think that that is a big component of this. They just had a wonderful meeting with the Arab League. They had the media conference. They had the development conference. Everything went really good. And then we had some turmoil. So ultimately, calm of the day under the circumstances that are happening between a few countries there, as we all know who they are. But basically, there's a snippet real fast that I picked up by doing some research. It says the emergency meeting in Istanbul initiated Fahud saying that, what does it do? It underscores I'm terrible tongue-tied tonight, you guys. Underscores the urgency of addressing the Israel-Iran conflict's regional ramifications. And its significance lies in fostering Arab unity and amplifying calls for de-escalation. There's some calm talking about there. Amid the volatile situation that risks broader war and economic disruption, the implications include heightened diplomatic efforts to prevent escalation, challenges to Iraq's neutrality, and potential shifts in Arab-Iran relations. All of those things are something to think about. However, he states that the effectiveness of the meeting depends on translating discussions into actionable outcomes, such as ceasefire agreements or renewed nuclear talks, which remains uncertain given the conflict's intensity and competing geopolitical interests. Yeah, there's some competition out there. Monitoring statements from the Iraqi Ministry of Foreign Affairs of OIC communiques will be of interest. Okay, so people that monitor what they have to say in these meetings today will be important, and we may see those tomorrow. Super Samson does a heck of a job. She's up long before I am, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what she has to say. I'll probably be up bright and early because I think I have an appointment that I need to take care of. Maybe you guys will enjoy that. So let's see what tomorrow brings. Enjoy the weekend, everybody, and thank you for being with me, and we appreciate it. So if you like, hit that like button. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for your support. It all does wonders. Thank you. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.